report, the Gates report and the Pulea report on child sexual abuse also. And then we've had the review of the penal code where we all made submissions. And that report actually, I think now it's like over 10 years it's been sitting there gathering dust, and no movement has been made on that apart from the review of the penal code. And I believe those reports should be activated. But I also want to make a point, for organizations that believe in democracy, rule of law, and so on. There are other things that can be done instead of just changing laws, because we have got adequate laws at the moment, and there have been high court rulings that actually address some of the things that we didn't want, some aspects of those laws, because we also need a recalled parliament or a parliament, an elected parliament to change these laws and policies. So I'd like to make that comment here. In terms of strategies, we will continue. We are continuing working at the community level now. We really want, because we have to look at prevention, not after the deed is done. While we're responding, and it's going to take a long time, we also must start looking at, we have been looking at prevention, in terms of awareness campaigns and so on, and the advocacy at policy level and bringing about changes and so on. But I think there is the issue of people getting gender sensitized, being aware of what they are talking about, so that we don't have comments, that actually harm the work that has already been done and confuses people, the general public out there. So if the interim minister is saying something, then that must be, the comment must be informed and from a knowledge and of how these things happen, violence and so on. I think the media can play a very, very important role. At the moment, the media has played a very important role, but it can still play a far more important role if it got to know more about it, training of the media, training. I think yesterday Nazat Shamim said at the Women's Symposium by the Department for Women that the judiciary needs to be sensitized. There's a lot left to be desired within the court system, and I think that is very true. So we're talking about the judiciary, we're also talking about the media, and one of the things we're doing at the moment is the community leaders, the chiefs, and people like the religious leaders. They are very, very important. So it has to be multi-sectoral, many-pronged. Just the crisis center can't do it, just the laws can't do it. We all have to be part and parcel of that.
Elizabeth, you might be aware of this law in Austria where the minute the husband lifts a hand on the wife, he is evicted from the house. Do you think that idea is too far-fetched to be implemented in Fiji if we are to move ahead quickly in dealing with violence against women?
Well, I think given all the things that Shamim has mentioned and all the work that has been done, I think the elements are in place in Fijian society. There's been enough people reached, the police have been reached, to some extent the judiciary has, and the Fiji Women's Crisis Centre itself has become an institution in society. People do listen to the opinions and do seek the opinion of these women. So I think there are many things that make Fiji, make it possible for Fiji to be a leader in the Pacific region. What it needs, I think, is male champions. It needs, of course, if we had more women in leadership, more women in decision-making positions, we would hope they would take that forward. But I think what's happened in Austrian society and in many other societies, also Rwanda, where the president is the chief advocate in ending violence against women, the chief advocate in the reform of law to protect women. And it's that kind of male leadership that is needed to bring all of these elements together, because those laws that are prepared, those laws should not require years and years of advocacy and then we slip and then we forget. People who are trained should not be able to slip back into old habits. So it needs the leadership and it needs the male leadership, and we wish female leadership to take this forward, to take direct, concrete action once you've taken each step. And it's this progressive change that the work of the human rights treaties, the MDGs, is wanting to see happen within countries, and steps by governments.
I just quickly want to talk about the male leaders. I'll have a problem if those male leaders did not stick to what they are saying. What they say on paper, what they say in public, they must also show it in the actions. And they must be non-violent, and they must respect women also. And that is why they need to undergo the training and understand the issues, because we can't have them talking against violence when they're doing it themselves, sexually harassing women and things like that. So it's really important. Those leaders are very good non-violent role models.
This team